Alright, my fearless money adventurers, buckle up, because today we're tackling something that hits way too close to home for way too many people. If you've ever felt that gut-wrenching twist of anxiety when thinking about your financial future, if the idea of running out of money makes your palms sweat more than a roller coaster, then listen up, because this one's for you. I just saw a study by Allianz Insurance, and the numbers, oh my goodness, they're not just alarming, they're screaming for attention. 67% of Americans, get this, 67% say they fear running out of money more than death. People, like actually dying. And another 57%, more than half, feel anxious every time the market dips. Let that sink in. We're literally more scared of our bank accounts hitting zero than our lives hitting zero. That's messed up, right? That's not a healthy way to live. And honestly, these two stats, they're basically the same beast, just wearing different masks. Because when you're flying blind, when you don't have a clue what your money can actually do for you, how much you can comfortably spend, or what happens when the stock market decides to take a nosedive. Every single market fluctuation feels like a direct assault on your security, your livelihood, your whole darn future. It is like feeling your retirement plan hanging by a thread, just waiting for the next sneeze from Wall Street to unravel everything you've worked for. And that is where the fear goblins creep in, whispering sweet nothings of impending doom. It's when your entire financial future feels like it is tethered to something completely outside of your control, be it the market, the economy, or the latest screaming headline from some financial guru. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to live in perpetual financial fear tonight. I want to do something very specific. I want to grab these two monster fears, the fear of running out of money and the fear of a market crash, and I want to show you exactly how to shrink them down to size, how to reduce them until they're barely a whisper in the back of your mind. I want to hand you the blueprint, the framework to put you squarely back in the driver's seat of your financial life, because you deserve to feel empowered, not paralyzed, by your money. So, what actually zaps this fear? What can we realistically do first? And this is a big one, like monumental. Get a written financial plan. If there's one single thing you could do right now to instantly dial down those fears, it is this. And the data. Oh, the data is singing a consistent song here. Research from the big guns, Vanguard, Northwestern Mutual, Charles Schwab, they all show the same thing. People with a written plan are 2 to 3 times more confident. And here's the kicker. They're way more likely to stay invested to hold steady when the market throws a tantrum. But here is the kicker, the problem. 48% of Americans don't have one, not even a scribbled napkin plan. So literally just solving this one issue could drastically improve those scary stats we just talked about. But hold on, there's another layer to this onion. Most Americans don't even know what a financial plan actually entails. That same Allianz survey, the one that broke our hearts with the death versus money stat, also found that most people can't plan beyond just saving, which, okay, contributing to a retirement account is a fantastic start, like putting on one sock, but beyond that, you need the other sock. You need a target retirement number, a clear timeline for when you actually want to ditch the 9 to 5, and how long you expect that glorious retirement to last. And crucially, you need a distribution strategy. How does all that saved money actually transform into a steady stream of income, into a monthly paycheck? Where's your emergency fund hiding? How are you going to bridge the gaps? This is the magic formula, turning simple savings into a bulletproof plan. Allianz also pointed out that most Americans are clueless about how Social Security fits into the retirement puzzle. If you haven't done it yet, I'm literally going to tell you to stop what you're doing right now. Clear your throat and go to SSA.gov, the official Social Security Administration website. Create your free account. It's super simple. Once you're in, you can see your entire work history, your projected benefits at different ages, from early retirement at 62 to full retirement age, or even 70. This information, my friends, is gold, because it helps you this becomes your income floor, the bedrock of your retirement, money that rolls in every single month, come hell or high water, market crash or boom. It's an incredibly crucial piece of the puzzle, because it shows you that your investment portfolio doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting. It doesn't have to cover 100% of your spending. It's a team effort. And speaking of mysteries, most Americans are completely in the dark about taxes in retirement. This is a huge blind spot, and frankly, a massive misconception. Here's the reality, straight from the Center for Retirement Research. The majority of retirees, get this, pay no federal income taxes, zero zip, nada. And we see this undeniable trend. 80% of households pay federal income taxes during their peak working years. That drops to about 50% by 65, and by 70, it's down to 35%. Why? Because income often declines in retirement. Social Security is partially tax-free for many. You ditch those pesky payroll taxes, and many states are super friendly to retirees, reducing or even eliminating taxes on retirement income. For most people, taxes take a dramatic nosedive once they punch out of the workforce. But a word of caution, this isn't a one-size-fits. Alt, if you're sitting on a mountain of traditional IRA money, or you have dual Social Security benefits, or a fat pension, you might not fit this rosy picture. You might even find yourself in the same tax bracket, or even higher over time. So the bottom line is, know your own unique situation. Your tax reality, it's your responsibility. Another giant uncertainty, healthcare costs in retirement. This is the beast, the most unpredictable, the hardest to estimate on your own. And this is precisely why I've teamed up with a company called Chapter. They're a Medicare advisory platform. They help you compare plans across all the major carriers, check your doctors, your prescriptions, your coverage, and find a plan that actually genuinely fits your life. They'll help you project what your healthcare costs will truly look like, a massive piece of this complex puzzle. So if you're hitting 65 or already on Medicare and just want a second opinion, hit up one of their licensed advisors. The link is in the description box below. It is an affiliate link because transparency, and there's a phone number too. Seriously, they're an amazing resource. I wouldn't recommend them if they weren't. Now, let's talk about a game changer, a paradigm shift in how we think about money, moving from portfolio-based thinking to income-based planning. This is a big one, supported by incredible research from David Blanchett and Michael Fink. When retirees look at their $400,000 portfolio, it often feels abstract, like a pile of numbers that doesn't quite translate to, what kind of life can I actually live? It feels uncertain, disconnected. But if we flip the script and start thinking in terms of income, specifically guaranteed income and discretionary income, suddenly things become incredibly concrete, tangible, real. Let's do a quick example. Imagine a dual income household. One person gets $1,600 a month from Social Security. The other gets $2,500. That's a rock solid $40,000 a month in guaranteed income, no matter what the market does, rain or shine, bull or bear. Those checks show up every single month. Now, let's say this same household has $400,000 invested at a 5% withdrawal rate. That's $20,000 a year, or about $1,700 a month. This becomes your flexible income, the part you can adjust when the market's soaring. Maybe you splurge a little when it's dipping. You pull back a bit. Think about how different that feels. In one scenario, you're staring at $400,000, wondering, what kind of life can this give me? In the other, you're saying, I have $4,100 a month in guaranteed income, plus $1,700 a month in flexible income. That, my friends, is a real picture, something you can actually plan your life around. It's easy for us to work with monthly income figures because we've been doing it our entire working lives. And this is what the research screams when people frame their wealth as income. Not just assets, they experience more stability, more control, more confidence, and even more importantly, they feel less anxious and more comfortable actually spending their hard-earned money, which is the whole point of saving, right? Next up, understanding safe withdrawal flexibility. One of the biggest fears looming over pre-retirees' heads is, what if I retire and the market immediately tanks? All my hard work, my whole plan, shattered. But that's not how a well-designed retirement plan works. Research from Morningstar, Vanguard, Michael Kitz's shows the 4% rule is a conservative baseline based on rigid inflation, adjusted withdrawals, but real-world retirees. They're not rigid robots. When you introduce even basic flexibility, your starting withdrawal rates can actually go up to 5, even 5.7%, and your long-term success rates improve dramatically. And this doesn't mean drastic, painful lifestyle changes. In most cases, it's as simple as skipping an inflation raise for a year or two, or temporarily reducing your pull from your portfolio by 5 to 10%. Let's go back to our $400,000 portfolio example. If you're pulling $1,700 a month or $20,400 a year, and you reduce that by 10% during a market downturn, you're now pulling about $1,547 a month or $18,564 a year. That's a reduction of about $1,800 a year, or $153 a month. We're not talking about selling your firstborn here, we're talking about a minor adjustment. And remember, this household still has those guaranteed Social Security checks coming in. But these small adjustments made at the most critical times have a massive, outsized, long-term impact on your portfolio's success. We're talking about improving success rates by 10 to 20 plus percentage points, preserving tens of thousands, maybe even $100,000 or more in portfolio value, and extending your portfolio's life by years. The real benefit isn't just the dollar amount, it's the timing. By reducing your withdrawals when the market is down, when your assets are depressed, you avoid locking in losses, you give your portfolio the breathing room it needs to recover, and more importantly, this gives you a specific, actionable plan, so you know exactly what to do when, not if, this situation arises in your retirement. Having a plan is everything. It means you're prepared. Not panicking. Number 4, building a cash buffer. This is your ultimate sequence risk protection. This is one of the most practical anxiety-crushing strategies you can employ in retirement, and it's heavily supported by research. You want to have anywhere from 3 to 5 years worth of cash ready to go, parked in a money market fund, CDs, bills, whatever. As long as it is readily accessible, what this does is eliminate the need to sell investments during a downturn. It shields you from sequence of returns risk, from being forced to sell off your investments early in retirement if you hit a brutal down market. It literally turns market drops into a non-event for you because you don't even need to touch your portfolio. So instead of, "Oh my goodness, the market's crashing, what do I do?" you get to calmly say, "Oh, the market's down, it's fine, I don't even need it right now." Now, you might be thinking, how on earth am I supposed to build a cash buffer for 3 to 5 years of expenses? And here's the good news. You don't have to cover all your expenses. You only have to cover the gap between your necessary spending and your guaranteed income streams. Going back to our dual income household, they have owning $100 a month in guaranteed Social Security. They want $1,700 a month from their portfolio. That is the gap. So instead of covering total spending, you're just covering the gap. In this scenario, a 3-year buffer is about $61,200. Yeah, it is not insignificant, but it's a lot more achievable than trying to save 3 years of total expenses. And what this does is give you multiple years where you don't have to touch your portfolio, you don't have to sell in a downturn, and you give your portfolio the precious time it needs to recover and flourish. Number 5, let Social Security be your financial bedrock, your income floor. This is one of the most underappreciated, underutilized stabilizers in retirement. Data from the Social Security Administration shows that low earners get about 75% of their income replaced by Social Security. Middle-income earners are looking at around 40%. And for married couples, we're talking about a household income replacement of about 62% if they don't have a pension. These aren't just trivial numbers, they're substantial. And once people truly grasp what their projected benefit looks like, they can plan out when to claim and how Social Security slots into their entire retirement income picture. And this, my friends, changes everything, because now you know your portfolio doesn't have to carry the entire load layer in 2 more realities. Many retirees actually spend less in retirement than they did while working, and Social Security can cover a meaningful chunk of income, especially for lower and middle income folks. Suddenly that gap you need to fill from your portfolio starts to feel infinitely more manageable. If you expect to live on $60,000 a year in retirement, and you know you only need your portfolio to cover 20% of that gap, or about $12,000, that feels a heck of a lot more doable than trying to cover the entire $60,000. For most Americans, Social Security is the fundamental income floor that your entire retirement plan is built upon if you take everything we've just talked about and actually weave it into a cohesive plan. Having a written financial plan, clear defined income floors like Social Security, maybe a pension or an annuity, a flexible withdrawal strategy, so you know exactly where and how much you'll trim during a market downturn, and a 3 to 5 year cash buffer, giving you that peace of mind that you have money set aside if you need it. The entire experience of retirement transforms. If the market dips, it no longer feels like a threat. It feels like an opportunity, or at least a manageable situation, because you simply turn to your plan and you know exactly what steps to follow. You already know where your income is coming from, how much you can adjust, and what you absolutely won't touch. So, to circle back to our original question, what can realistically improve those alarming stats? What are the highest impact actions? It boils down to 3 things. Number 1, get people to create a written plan. This alone can dramatically reduce fear, because uncertainty thrives in the dark and a clear plan shines a light on it. Number 2, shift the conversation to income. Not just assets. Stop asking, "How big is my portfolio?" and start asking, "What income does this produce?" Know your guaranteed income streams and your flexible ones. This instantly tells you how much give your plan has, reducing anxiety and boosting your confidence to actually enjoy your money. And, number 3, teach flexible withdrawal strategies and build a downturn playbook. You must have a plan for what you're going to do when, not if, the market misbehaves. As long as you have that clear plan, with defined steps to follow, it builds confidence, it gives you peace of mind, it channels all that panic into, okay, these are the steps I need to take to succeed. 67% of Americans are more afraid of running out of money than dying. But the data, my friends, screams that it's because they don't understand how their plan works. Because once you know what you can spend, what exactly happens in a downturn, and precisely where your income is coming from, all that fear becomes incredibly manageable. At the end of the day, it is virtually impossible to manage what you don't understand. So, this is why it is so critically important to understand your money, to demystify it, so you can take absolute control of your life. I don't want you to be more afraid of running out of money than you are of running out of life. I want you to feel confident, empowered, and absolutely joyful with your money so you can savor every single moment of everything you've worked so hard for. So what are your thoughts on these stats? I'm dying to hear. Leave a comment down below. I drop new videos every single week. If you got even an ounce of wisdom from this one, please give it a like. Smash that like button like it owes you money. If you're new here, consider subscribing. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, who's drowning in financial anxiety, please, for the love of all that is holy, share this video with them. I'll see you soon. Bye. Sound of a bird squawking. Oh, that bird. That wretched bird. I don't know what kind it is. But I don't like it. I don't like any bird, actually. Is there such a thing as a silent bird? I like that bird. It can just look pretty and fly around. Sound of me getting up and running. I just ran outside to chase 4 birds out of my yard. Don't know why they thought they could take up residence there. Not acceptable. Need a bird fence. I think that is called a bubble. Listen, I don't see the birds out there. They're in a tree somewhere, and I'm not going to be totally crazy and climb a tree. So I put earplugs in. I'm sorry for all the bird lovers out there. Misophonia. It's a thing. Look it up. I just want to live in silence. Oh great. Now there's a bug on my wall that I have to go kill. The joys of peaceful living, right?